to Superior Sunrise. Now joining me are Superior Livestock representatives, Chris Brookman and Roger Nygaard. Thank you both for being on with me this morning. I appreciate you both being here. You know, Chris, this was your first time, and Roger, both of your first times here to the tour of the Hudson Oaks office. You guys got to come by and take a look yesterday, so welcome to Hudson Oaks. We're glad to have you down here. Although I can't say that we've offered you much better weather here in Texas than what you guys are experiencing there in Montana, have we? Well, you know, Chris, let's get into it. You know, you're one of my favorite people to sit down and visit with. You have a very rich and diverse background in the agricultural industry, and you've seen a lot of changes in the industry and with Superior as well. So why don't you, for folks at home that don't know Chris Brookman, why don't you tell us a little about your background in the ag industry and your start with Superior Livestock?
Well, I was born and raised in northeast Montana. My family came in 1884, about 5 years before it became a state. And we've been farmers and ranchers up there ever since. Too dumb to leave, I guess. As far as Superior, Roger's grandfather owned the stockyards in Wolf Point, and I worked for them. And then in 1979, I bought it. His uncle that was running the yards got an offer to be the assistant administrator of Livestock Marketing Association under a fellow by the name of Paul Branch. So he went down there and I bought the stockyards. In 1984, Ralph Wade, who Ralph and I had done a lot of business together, called me and said, we'd like to start a video company. So Ralph and Tony Schiffer and Ray Mader and I started a video company in 1984 and ran it for 3 years or so in competition with Jim Odell when it was Odell in Cumberland. And then when they started Superior Livestock, they flew us down here to Fort Worth and talked us into throwing in with them. The rest is history.
And you've been here ever since, haven't you?
Howard Hawks and I were the first two reps in Montana. We covered a lot of country. First started, they looked at us like he had two heads when you drive in the yard and ask them. And Roger started working with me back then, and we started running cows together, and he's kept me broke. I haven't been able to leave.
He's kept you. Well, Roger, you know, let's talk about it. We always talk about our Superior family, and you know, we are a tight-knit group, and we all feel like family. But you two both are our family, and talk about that working relationship. Now, I asked before we came on, so Chris, Roger's wife is your cousin, correct? So you kind of, you chose to marry into the Brookman craziness, correct?
Well, we probably would have went into it without Chris, you know, but it worked out good because Chris's younger brother went to school with both Ruby and I.
And you guys have been together ever since, and you kind of, you know, we were talking about, you know, the relationship that you have, but, you know, as far as tending to Chris's customers and everything, it's a team effort, and, you know, deliveries and really helping each other out.
Yep, and, yeah, we've been doing it for a long time, and it just keeps growing. I think we're going to get too old though one of these days.
No, well, we had some great time telling stories yesterday and reminiscing over how the industry's changed. But Chris, they're wrapping us up. So real quick before we leave, we do have some great Montana cattle coming in that you're offering today. So why don't you guys give us a little overview of what you're offering?
We've got about 41 loads on calves and a lot of program calves. So calves ranging from 500 pounds to almost 700 pounds. Some really good cattle. Yeah. Cattle that have been on for almost as long as I've been a rep.
Well, and you know what, we definitely want to make sure that we mention that our thoughts and prayers are with a lot of the ranchers up there in your home state. We know that they're going through some difficult times, but you know, as we said before we came on, tough times don't last, tough people do, and we know the resiliency of the ranchers and people in this industry, so we know there's better times ahead, and we're going to have a great opportunity to sell them today.
Yep, thank you very much.
No, thank you both for being on. Don't go anywhere. When we return, we'll have Center Ranch.